King Charles has unveiled his first official portrait since his coronation. Take a look at this, the striking oil painting.
It is striking.
With him staring head on against the backdrop of red, pink, and fuchsia hues.
Why is it all red?
Yeah, I don't really see him either.
It's...
Uh-oh. The portrait is more than 6 feet tall. It was painted over 3 years by a UK artist. The artist says the butterfly above Charles's shoulder represents his transformation as king.
With a butterfly about to land on his shoulder, critics could not help notice the portrait looked a little sinister, joking he just needed horns and a pitchfork.
The Bible scored monster ratings, more than 13 million viewers, but also stirred controversy because you saw the man in the cloak here look familiar. A lot of people looking at that and saying, looks a lot like President Obama. By the way, this is Satan in this series. So now the movie's executive producers are hoping to avoid that. They are reportedly cutting this character from the film's version.
This church has maintained power for thousands of years. They will stop at nothing to keep it that way.
This is no serene place, though. It is loaded with creepy and suspicious people and settings. When the young woman is warned about a possible conspiracy by a faction of the church to lure young people back, it's revealed that the birth of the spawn of the devil must happen. Shot on location in Italy, The First Omen pays great attention to every detail of every shot of this movie. It is beautiful and it is haunting.
And some really disturbing and horrifying imagery is showcased through the entire movie. It's pretty bold of the studio to actually go forward and do some of the stuff they did in this movie, because I really thought we were only going to see some of this with films like Immaculate, which, funny enough, very similar to The First Omen in many ways.
It's a miracle. You are with child.
You just have to let whatever happen.
How can we trust what's inside you?
It's quite the commentary on everything from faith to God to the devil. I mean, it's you go after some pretty...
Going deep.
You're too afraid.
Doesn't it seem like these assignments are getting weirder?
I can't even tell anymore.
Your director said that she was on set and was filming a scene in a piazza and said that she felt kind of off that day. And then she spoke to the gaffer or someone and they said, oh, it's because the circumference of this place is 666, which sounds quite creepy and spooky. So I'm wondering if either of you had any creepy, spooky stories from the set of The First Omen.
I was staring at Ralph's necklace one day. Ralph Ineson, who plays Father Brennan, and he had this crucifix on, and we'd just done a possession scene, so it was, tensions were high, and I was sort of just like locked in a gaze at his neck at this crucifix, and I promise, I was about to swear there, sorry, I promise you, it just snapped in half, this crucifix, and just fell off of his neck, and the two of us were like, and because emotions were already running high, we genuinely thought we had just seen a ghost. Like, it was, listen, there's more, okay?
What can we look forward to in this final season?
I look forward to every single new script that I get, and I'm always blown away by what they've come up with, and I think as a viewer you'll have the same experience. It just gets crazier and crazier, and when you think it can't possibly get any crazier, it will still get crazier. So.
And this cycle of suspicion and discord must end.
To open a door of understanding, the president invoked his own connections to Islam.
I'm a Christian, but my father came from a Kenyan family that includes generations of Muslims. As a boy, I spent several years in Indonesia and heard the call of the azan at the break of dawn and at the fall of dusk.
He said it's time for critics of the Muslim world to shed their misperceptions.
Islamic culture has given us majestic arches and soaring spires, timeless poetry and cherished music, elegant calligraphy, and places of peaceful contemplation. And throughout history, Islam has demonstrated through words and deeds the possibilities of religious tolerance and racial equality.
The president went through what he called some blunt truth-telling on about 7 different issues, urging the Muslim world to do more on everything from democracy to women's rights to Middle East peace. Harry?
And a year ago, remember, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that the Middle East is the most peaceful he's seen in his lifetime, and then October 7th happened. So this is a world as they wish it to be, and we've seen the results of it. The world is on fire.
Tonight, President Macron reflecting on an extraordinary Olympics. What are your favourite moments?
Obviously, the opening ceremony was a great moment. I have a lot of memories, and the fact that we delivered something great for the world.
Keep in mind, it wasn't just the Last Supper. At one point, they had a ginormous golden calf on stage, straight out of the book of Exodus. Then they had a beast, or some weird, mysterious, cloaked figure, riding what looked for all the world like either a pale horse or a white horse, straight out of the book of Revelation right there.
And we will do so with the poetry of our great Rubén Darío in mind. And here I quote, "A great flight of crows stains the blue sky. A 1,000-year-old breath threatens plague. In the Far East, men are being murdered. Has the apocalyptic Antichrist been born? Omens have been witnessed and wonders seen. The return of Christ seems imminent. The earth is pregnant with pain. This is the beginning, the dawning of a new world, which is being born, rising from the ashes of anguish, suffering, and pain."
Brothers and sisters, humankind is at a critical time. We are giving birth to a new history, to a new global order that is more fair, more collective, and more full of solidarity.
When I see what continues to be a breakdown, it feels, both within American society and around the world, I feel like we're getting closer. It does seem that we're heading that direction more than any time when I look at the evidence of the things we do know for sure will take place.
Damien, it's all for you!
This son of perdition and ultimate enemy of Christ is also reflected in popular culture.
Don't let them kill me.
Hollywood films like The Omen and The Devil's Advocate.
Who are you? Oh, they have so many names.
You see a parody of the very thing that we're talking about, because you see a parody of God as Father, Son, and Spirit in the fact that Revelation talks about dragon, beast from the sea, beast from the earth, representative of Satan, of the Antichrist as we term it, and as a false prophet, kind of a propaganda machine.
The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority.
The beast there is coming up out of a sea of people, and that would be the reference to the Antichrist.
The beast.
And the beast. And that he is going to hold sway. He will be empowered by the dragon, who's Satan.
While the term Antichrist doesn't appear in 2 Thessalonians, it is often identified with references like the man of lawlessness, who will oppose and exalt himself over everything that is called God.
I don't think that we have seen the Antichrist yet. It does not use the word Antichrist, but it definitely describes what many theologians believe is the Antichrist. It just doesn't use the words. And so, yeah, we see this all throughout the New Testament.
The coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with the work of Satan displayed in all kinds of counterfeit miracles, signs, and wonders.
And the reason John tells us in 1 John 4:3, he says, the spirit of Antichrist is already at work secretly, and it will remain secret until the one who is holding back steps out of the way. Remember we talked about that in Thessalonians? He will restrain until he's taken out of the way. Well, the dragon, or Satan, it goes on and says, gave the beast his power, his throne, and great authority. And it says the whole world was astonished in Revelation 13 and followed the beast. And men worshiped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast. And they also worshiped the beast and asked, who is like the beast? Who can make war against him? Now, later on to the equation is added the false prophet. And these three make up the demonic trinity. Satan seeks to fill the role of God the Father. The Antichrist tries to play the role of the Messiah, the Son of God, and the false prophet becomes a replacement for the Holy Spirit. And this becomes the evil trinity, where essentially they seek to build a whole new false religion to displace all of the religions, including Christianity. But to be accurate, there's more than one beast. As I said, there is this ruler who comes on the scene, the Antichrist, but also his empire is referred to as being beastly. It has his same character. His governmental system serves his whims and his will and his purpose. And together with Satan, they form this evil counterfeit trinity that we spoke of before. But maybe, I think, the most important characteristic of the beast is that John identifies him in his first letter as being the ultimate deceiver. And he was given power to make war against the saints and to conquer them. And he was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. And all inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast. It goes on to say the beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemy, and to exercise his authority for 42 months or 3.5 years. The Antichrist will present himself to the Jews as their best friend. Some have suggested he may himself be Jewish, but he does help them rebuild their third temple. It says in Daniel that he will confirm a covenant, and that covenant is an agreement to restore the temple and to restore the temple worship and to restore cultic and ritual Judaism as existed in the time of Christ and before. But for a Jew, he is never completed in terms of his relationship with God without a temple. And so finally they build a temple, and what does he do? He betrays them, and he takes his seat upon the holiest of holies in the holy place and declares that he is God. And he sets about creating a whole new religious system. Well, he says this interesting. His origin is from the abyss. It doesn't mean that he's a demon that comes out of hell, but it means that a demon that came out of the pits of hell is living and controlling him. In the 1 Thessalonians 5, Paul said that his message would be peace and safety. Peace and safety. But destruction will come on them suddenly.
I'm telling you, all of us in the Arab world here, we want a peace in which Israel lives in peace and security, accepted, normalized with all Arab countries in the context of ending the occupation, withdrawing from Arab territory, allowing for the emergence of an independent, sovereign Palestinian state.
The fate of Ukraine is a question of peace and security in Europe and around the world.
Also to establish peace and security in our region.
A lot of people would like to see there are two orders in this world. This is a huge mistake, even for both the US and China. We need a single global order.
You talked about Jerusalem.
Yes, exactly.
Before.
Yes.
And he said what?
He said that probably he will announce the fact that he wanted to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
And you told him what?
I told him I thought it was a mistake, because we've worked all together on the recognition of two states, Israel and Palestine, with borders recognized by the international community, and that such a unilateral decision is not compliant with our international discussions and our international rules, and will not facilitate a peace process.